Akil, former football player, in his senior year of wrestling.
Still football player. Going to college.
Yeah, right. Maybe he's going to college.
I am going to college.
For football. We never know. Never know. But anyway, Akil, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, why don't you tell us real quick what your record is?
Wrestling right now, I'm 10-4. Dropped a couple losses to state-ranked kids. Played second in a tournament yesterday, so it's going pretty well.
All right. So we're going to jump first into football, and then we'll talk a little bit about wrestling. So tell me why you started football.
I started football in 8th grade. Just there because, really. Then freshman year, I started getting more playing time. Sophomore year, nothing great. Junior year, we got starting varsity spots. The season went pretty well. We went 5-5, nothing great, but it was a pretty good season. Just being that I got in the field a lot and I was a starter. And then my senior year, doing pretty well, pancaking kids a lot, and we made it to the first round of the playoffs.
So, how did you work hard to keep progressing in football and being able to earn that varsity spot?
Just staying consistent. Find a person better than you and outwork them. Just give them everything you have every day.
Okay, so I understand that you have a couple of offers for football. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
I mean, you got to reach out to coaches and contact them. And then if they like your film, they like it. Just keep your grades up and make sure those are good. And then pretty much you can get an offer if you have enough varsity film and you're not a terrible varsity player. You should be able to play in college. Doesn't matter how good you are. Really.
Okay. You want to tell us who's looking at you, who's interested in you?
Not really great schools, but there's some D3 powerhouses, some D2, a couple D1 schools. I'm thinking about staying local in Jersey, so Rowan's probably one of the top choices if I get in.
Who's the Division I?
Division I, Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
So with staying local, why do you want to stay local?
Just be around, be close to my family. If I want to come home or anything, they're right there. They can come see me play on weekends. That's really the main part. Is there a timing there or anything?
So if you could pick a sport that you would have to do for the rest of your life, would it be football or wrestling?
Definitely wrestling. Wrestling has helped me progress in football drastically, which is what I'm ultimately good at. But wrestling is a sport I've obviously liked more. But if I was good enough to wrestle in college, I can get an offer to do that, I would definitely pick that over football. Just because it teaches you how to get through adversity in life and be better at a lot of things. It's honestly what's helped me become a better football player and is why I'm so good at football over wrestling. Just being that in wrestling, you can get through a lot of matches without a lot of technique. There's grit and toughness. And in football, basically the same thing. In wrestling, to progress to the next level, you need the technique, which I have, but it's not great. In football, it helps. You can just demolish kids, just being an asshole, basically.
So who's been, the most important person in your football career so far?
Football career would definitely be the coach I had from freshman junior year, Coach Joe George. He's not a coach anymore. He retired and got a new coaching job recently. He's helped me become a better football player and a better person. My freshman year, I was barely what you consider an athlete, and then he pushed me every day, saying that he had potential in me to get better. And then by the time of my junior year, he gave me a shot, and I took advantage of it.
Very nice. So, what do you think was your setback to this season, ending 5-5, losing in the first round of the playoffs?
I think it was just honestly having a new coaching staff, having a younger team with just our play style and stuff. We changed our whole offense, which I think 5-5 is a pretty successful season, meaning that we probably could win 7-3, maybe got embarrassed in the playoffs, but that's all what ifs. Can't really complain about that. Could have done a lot better, but I'm satisfied and I can live with being 5-5 my final season, knowing that I gave everything I have.
Off of that, what do you think of the new coaching staff? Is there a future in South Brunswick for them?
I think they're great. I think they did a hell of a job for being their first season, going 5-5. And our team wasn't what you would consider an elite team. We didn't have any standout Division I football players or crazy talent or anything like that. But we had a team of solid guys who believed in each other and trusted each other, which is what led us to a 5-5 record. Might have dropped a couple games that we couldn't consider that, but there's definitely a future in South Brunswick with a bunch of better kids coming forward in the future.
All right, so that's just a little bit about Akil from the football perspective. We're going to spend a little bit more time on wrestling because that's what this podcast is mainly focused around, wrestling. So, when did you start your wrestling career and why?
I started wrestling freshman year, actually. Because in football, I was on the freshman team my freshman year. Ended up getting called up to varsity, just basically on the sidelines, watching the games, maybe getting a couple reps in practice with it. Our football team was crazy that year with some crazy level talent with the linemen.
Yeah, are you high? Are you high?
Nah.
We're talking about wrestling.
Yeah, man, no, I'm just going through the whole process right now.
Okay.
There was these kids who just demolished me every day, and I was talking to one of the other kids who got some playing time. He said he wrestled. He said that's what helped him become a great football player. And then he somehow got me to the practice one day, and then it just happened. And I just stayed, and I liked it. And we just continued with that.
What do you think of head coach Bobby J?
I mean, he's a good coach. He gets along with us really well. He does what he has to do to win. That's the mentality you have to succeed in this division with a bunch of powerhouse schools like South Plainfield, Monroe, and Piscataway.
So people may know, if you haven't seen it already, go check out Akil's Instagram. Akil, what's your Instagram?
It's the Heavyweight Memes. Post a bunch of wrestling-related content. Started off just a page I started just for fun, then started blowing up, so I kept staying with it. It's just a bunch of memes, some wrestling content, and then basically keep you updated on the heavyweight life.
So Akil has a video on there of him throwing the number 5 kid in the state? Number 2 kid in the state. So run us through what you were thinking in that match.
So before the match, actually before the season even started, so we had these 2 kids from Franklin play on our football team, and they would always gas him up every day. So I had to prove him wrong, you know what I mean? And then wrestling started. I found out we had that team on their schedule. So I was thinking before the match, I'm going to throw this kid right off the bat. He's not going to be expecting it. And I'm going to show him what I'm about, right? Then the match started chilling around. I'm like, if I get into this position, I'm going for it right away. About 30 seconds into the match, it happened. And I just said, fuck everything, fuck this. I don't care if it works, I'm going to do it. And I just ripped it 100%. The lat drop worked. He went right to his back for 5.
And then you actually end up getting pinned, but that doesn't matter. We only focus on the good part about the match. But you basically have done nothing but throws this year. Why is that? Is this because you're just so much bigger than everyone else at being, just barely being able to make weight?
Oh, wow. Asshole. I mean, that was the thing. I was cutting from 315, so, I mean, I made weight every match, but it's like, you gotta watch what you're eating a little bit. I just have a monster with me, but that's not the point. But, I mean, throws are a big part of my game just because a lot of guys I'm just bigger than. I can physically handle them. I can get in on shots, but, like, throwing is a lot better on the kids who are, like, 220, 230, a lot smaller than you. It'll be a lot quicker, a lot harder to shoot on. On bigger guys, I'll try to work, like, my quick shots a lot more. I'm pretty athletic for being 285, so I can get in on guys who are, like, 270, 260, and, like, not smaller range, but just, like, not as big. Yeah, and I can finish, too, but, like, I try to work in a combination of both. I'll go upper body for a little bit, then I'll use it and get to, like, a quick shot, like a drag, throw by, pass by, snatch single, sweep single, any of those stuff, maybe in a high crotch every now and then.
How has it been with the assistant coach, Ricardo Romero, who was in the UFC, placed 5th in the States? He's a bigger guy. Wasn't a big guy in high school, but he knows definitely how to help you using your weight. How is it like to have someone of that caliber in the room every day?
It's been huge. My junior year, I was when he first came in as a coach, I was about 260. Not the strongest kid, most athletic kid. I was still pretty athletic, just being that, like, I worked hard towards running. I was pretty quick. I tried to use that to my advantage, but now I'm like 285, I'm quicker than I was before, but I really learned how to like hold my ground against guys a lot stronger than me. I learned how to keep stuff tight and just drive, because now they have a new rule. If you get a push out, it's a stalling call basically. So it's like you're using some of that freestyle Greco experience with it. And then if you want, my finals match, I ended up getting 4 stalling calls. I ended up losing the match. It was 11-11 going into overtime. Went for a throw, didn't work out in my favor. Probably not the smartest idea to do, but it's like that. It's all a learning experience, because I mean, all that really matters in high school is the postseason. You can go 40-0 through the regular season, but if you lose in the first round of districts, none of that matters. And you can go 0-40, but if you make it all the way to states and win, none of that matters. You're still a state champ, right? Mm-hmm. But having Coach Romero has been a huge thing for me. Being in the UFC, this dude's like 260, jack, benches like 500 pounds, compared to me benching like 300. I mean, it's still not bad numbers for a 17-year-old, but he's really taught me to hold my ground a lot more, because he bullies the crap out of me every day in practice. He also taught me to go for the throws, because I hit him with a lat drop once, and that was like one of the biggest accomplishments I've had in this sport. Right now, if I went against him, he would pin every kid in the state we have this year, and it wouldn't even be close. He wrestled at Rutgers. He wrestled 171 for them, and then he headed into the UFC. He fought at 205 and 245 in the undercard belts. So having him here has been huge. He helps me go through a lot of technique and stuff that can actually work in my weight class and use. Instead, a lot of guys, when they wrestle, they'll use their shots to get to their upper body. Guys who like Greco and stuff. But then he taught me basically the reverse. I use my upper body, but then when a guy wants to go for a throw on me, I'll drop down to a shot and take him down. And he also taught me to finish like low shots. And when you go in for a low shot in the heavyweight, you don't want to get their weight on you. So he taught me how to get out of all these situations and get my way through it and actually finish more effectively on bigger guys. So having him here has been huge. My junior year, I went 17-12. Right now I'm 10-4, so we're already on pace to do a ton better than that. So this is helping a lot, having him here, and it's going to be huge also for everybody else.
What has been the most important experience that helped you change your wrestling career around? You know, it was life-changing, or it just really helped you progress in the sport?
My freshman year, basically, it was bad. I was on JV. I went 1-16. But then one day my coach said, fuck it. He wanted to throw me out there in a varsity match against another kid who wasn't that great. It was the second period. I stood up from bottom, and the kid was on his knees. I just ran him over and pinned him. The whole place went crazy. That's the best I've ever felt. I was looking right at our bench. I see our head coach jump up in the air screaming. And that was the time I knew that I could actually do something in this sport, and that I wasn't complete trash, and I could actually be somewhere. And that was huge for me, because I was honestly thinking about quitting after my freshman year, after I didn't do too well. But that was the one thing that kept me going. And then sophomore year, I ended up claiming a varsity spot, and it's just up from there.
So I don't know if anybody's seen the video where this kid, he recorded or documented from his freshman year to now his senior year. And I just watched the video last night, and basically he was like you know, didn't win a single match his freshman year, was on JV, then went on to sophomore year, got some wrestling time, wasn't that great. Junior year he started getting better, and then states. By senior year he made states.
Made states is junior year, actually.
Oh really?
Senior year, yeah.
Okay, that got a little.
So I actually watched that video a while ago, and that was honestly I think my junior year, and that made me see how good I could really be. This kid wasn't even in New Jersey, so honestly the competition's still good, but like it's not what it is here in Jersey. And if I'm doing this good with competition here in Jersey, who knows how I could have been in another state, but it honestly pushed me to know that I could actually do it, and it wasn't impossible, and that people have done it before me. So I have no excuse not to succeed right now. That's what's kept wrestling with a chip on my back, honestly. That I have to succeed. I have no excuse right now not to.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but what do you think this wrestling team can do this year overall as a team?
I think it can be huge. I think this can be huge right now. We are 6-5. We dropped a couple tough losses to powerhouse schools, right? We dropped a loss to Franklin, Hillsborough, which we probably shouldn't have, honestly.
I think we should have beaten Hillsborough. We were just not there.
We started off with a huge bang against Woodbridge. I could not wrestle that match due to an injury in my ankle. Nah, I actually was though, but
He was overweight.
Nah,
Let's be honest here.
I wasn't.
Here. You were overweight.
I made weight.
You did not make weight.
83.3. I made weight, but we lost. We won Woodbridge on criteria 41-41. They went past bonus points, went past the amount of pins, and they went to points scored, and we scored first 8 times to their 6, which was huge for us. And then we dropped a loss to Franklin, who's a powerhouse school. He's the number 2 kid in the state, which I threw. And then they had a couple other district champs, 2 other state qualifiers. It was huge for them. South Plainfield, biggest powerhouse in the GMC division. They win GMCs every year. They had a state champ last year at 220. Zach Delvecchio, who's at Rutgers right now. He's going to wrestle heavyweight. Hopefully he does good this year as a red shirt.
I'm going to stop you right there just because I want to talk about CBA and how we were able to come away with that win. But first, what do you think is the most you need to work on to keep progressing and being able to take that next step to be able to go far in the playoffs?
Playoffs are huge right now. If we're 6-5, we should make it. If the season were to end today, basically if you have 500 record, more than the 500 record, you're pretty much guaranteed. So I think the team just has to work for that. That's the one goal. We've never made the playoffs since I've been here, and it would be huge to go down south, wherever it is, honestly, this year, and then make it to the playoffs, which would be a unique experience for every one of us and a great experience for a head coach who's never made it there and I want to get this done. And in the playoffs, it's do or die, right? So bonus points are at a premium. If you can pin, you need guys to pin. You need guys to lose small. It's honestly about the toughness of the team. That's why you have all these big teams like Phillipsburg, Hunterdon Central, South Plainfield, Hanover Park in the public division, and North Hunterdon, which is ranked number 1 public schools this season, because they have maybe 4 or 5 hammers who they get pins every time. Maybe if your kids rank top 8 in the state or it's ranked, they'll still be able to come away with decisions, majors, and techs, which is huge for these schools. And maybe the kids who are not so good, first-year varsity wrestlers, they're tough as shit. They go up against guys who are ranked in the state, and they'll somehow only lose by 2 or 3 points, still only giving up 3, which is better than giving up the pin, which goes from a 6-point swing to a 12-point swing in that. And that's honestly the big thing in the playoffs, because you don't see scores that are too lopsided unless you're going up against teams like Bergen Catholic, Blair, and those types of teams who have all studs committed to D1 schools.
Stop shaking the damn table.
I'm sorry.
How has it been going from a laid-back, more Penn State-like style of wrestling to now in your senior year going to an attack-style wrestling?
I love it, and it definitely favors me being right at 285, because I might not be the strongest kid, but I'm able to still move kids around, because that's basically the main part of my game. Just run them, basically DeSanto style, fucking run them to the edge of the mat, and then just get my stalling calls, right? And then when they come at you hard, that makes it time for a quick shot or something, then get them off guard, and they start charging at you even harder, or they'll push back, right? It's never really a stalemate in the middle. You're always either gaining ground and getting them to push out, get stall calls, get 5 stall calls, disqualification, the same as a pen, dude. And if they come at you, that's when you get shots. That's exactly the same style. He either runs kids out of bounds, gets your stalling calls, or when he comes in, he hits that dump. It's pretty much unstoppable. Only a few guys have been able to stop it.
One thing I've noticed in every single one of our matches up against whoever we were going up against was, 1, we were the ones pushing the pace, and 2, when it came down to the third period, if it lasted that long, we were not even phased. We weren't gassed at all. We didn't even break a sweat. The other team, hands on their hips, bad stances. What do you think we did in the wrestling room to help us out there on the mat to be able to last all 3 periods?
I think another thing people really underlook is the conditioning aspect. Some of it comes from the running, a lot of it really doesn't. Most of it's in your head. You have to have the mentality that if you're tired, your opponent's fucking dead, right? And that's what I had, because in my match against Piscataway, I was pretty sick that match, so I didn't wrestle my best. I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I want to get this match done as quick as possible. This kid's wrestled JV last year. I'm going to be pretty much a 4-year starter, 3-year starter. I wrestled a little bit freshman year. So I'm thinking the match, I'm like, and then time comes the third period. I'm like, oh shit, I'm down 4-2, right? But then I wasn't tired, even like I was sick and everything, so I could barely breathe through my lungs. But I wasn't as tired as that. And I see this kid with his hands on his hips, about to die, looking at his coach, about to throw up and everything. And then I ended up getting 4 stalling calls, just quick snap, takedowns. Kid fell right to his face, and I ended up pulling away a 9-5 victory. Not really a match I'm proud of, but like it just shows like that. Even though I wrestled like shit that day, my conditioning and my mental ability really let me win that match. And also another thing that I think we're doing pretty well in the room is most of this conditioning actually comes from wrestling and not in drilling too. If you go in live, you have to be able to wrestle through every situation. Just small pauses. If you look at other teams that are in that condition, just have straight athletic ability, you'll see like they'll go for one shot, and if they don't get in, they'll get out, they'll get another. Me, if I go in for a shot or throw or anything, I go one shot, and then if it doesn't work, I come back out, snap, go another, snap, go another, snap, go another. Because just that constant motion gets you in on bigger shots and lets you take points. If you look at the top kids in the state, college, a lot of that. If a guy takes a shot on you, they don't get it. Reshot right away, counter shot right away, anything in that. That'll all help you score points in that, because that's how you win, and that's a big thing in our game, because we want to be like more of a college style team, more attack style. Maybe like you say, team who relates to is Iowa, and how they come at you every time, no matter who you are, no matter what you do.
Now we're going to get on to our biggest win of the year, probably Coach's biggest win of his entire head coaching career, beating CBA. I'm not too sure what they were ranked when we beat them.
Oh, that was huge. I think.
You know what they were ranked?
They were pretty high. I mean, I don't think they came out. They pretty much slept on us, right? So CBA, if you don't know, Anthony Ashnault's brother coaches there. So he was at the match, which was a cool experience for everybody. National champ. He actually follows my Heavyweight Meme page, so I talked to him for a little bit afterwards. Chill, great guy, really humble. He's one of the hardest working guys I've seen through all like the videos and stuff I've seen. I've never really talked to him in person before this, but he's a great dude. It was great talking to him. So basically, we start off the duel at 182. We start off the duel at 195. Our 195 came away with a 92 decision against the kid. He wrestled the week before at the Collinswood Christmas tournament, and who he beat by a point. He wrestled 92, so that just proves how much better this kid's gotten. He actually won his first tournament yesterday. Congratulations to him, AJ. Great job. Dude's getting a lot better through every single match he's done. Last year, he was basically coach's person to shit on like after every match because he would never do anything right. But now he's really learned to come into his own and use everything to his advantage. Our 220 got bitched the match before by a kid from South Plainfield, and then he has a great shot. So our coach said, I told him right off the bat, no matter what the fuck happened, you do this, you go right through him and you kick his fucking ass, right? And then what he does, he hits it right off the whistle, picks this kid up in the air. The kid, just remember, our kid is not like a Jack 220.
He's like a double, by
he's
the way.
one of those short, like Italian meatball kids. Not even like bad way, but like it's crazy. He lifted this kid up in the air, threw him right to his back, and pinned him in 8 seconds, right? And that was crazy. That got like the whole train rolling. Everything was crazy after that. I got to forfeit that match. I made weight, so got to forfeit. That's 6 points right there. We had to forfeit 106 because we didn't have a 106 at that point. 113. Our kid came away with a huge win. Our kid's doing pretty good right now. He won his second tournament title as a sophomore, he's going to be pretty great. He actually pinned a state qualifier from South Plainfield, so he's making a name for himself, and he's going to be filthy in years to come. He's probably going to be one of the anchors of the lower weights. 120 was a tough match for us with I think he's a sophomore. He's not really great. He's just kind of kid who was thrown into the fire prematurely. Doesn't really have anything to do with himself, right? And then at 126 is a kid who's a stud, Matt Klimkevich, right? He has about 60, 70 career wins, and he's a junior right now. He had 30 wins his freshman year, 30 wins his sophomore year, but never has been able to put anything really together in the postseason. He's been working super hard trying to change that this season, and he's been doing pretty well. He dropped a tough loss, 3-2, I think, with a kid who we lost to 6-2 the week before, which just shows how you can make a little improvement just over like a week, right? And then I'm pretty sure if they wrestle again, he's pulling out that win. He has more guts than that kid. The kid was gassed. He just kind of got overpowered at the beginning, which he was able to come back pretty hard at the end, but just wasn't able to finish the job. At 132, our kid, he's okay. He starts his freshman year. He's a junior. Pretty much a kid who was just thrown out there prematurely again into the fire as a freshman. He's tough as nails. He got majored. He did whatever he could. That's what that is, honestly, at that point. At 138, we have a kid who's a junior. Not too great, but he was able to do what he could, get the job done. Only gave up a tech and not a pin, which is huge because at one point, these 1-point, 2-point things is what came out to win the duel for us, right? And at 145, our kid only gave up. Armand got. He only got decision by a kid who's a fucking stud. The kid was bodying him the whole match, and he managed to only lose by 6, I think, right? 152. Did you wrestle?
No, I didn't. They sent him a resale.
They put something like that. I think they should have sent him out, but that's fine. This kid, he's super jacked. He's an elite athlete. If you look at him, he weighs 152. He wrestles 152, 160. So you have a bunch of kids at that weight level. But this kid benches 280 pounds. One of the quickest kids I've ever seen. He's just not a wrestler. Yeah, he's just an athlete, right? And then they make those mistakes sometimes. They try to just body kids that are more technical than them, and then they end up getting thrown. Kid's gonna be good if he learns. If he learns his stuff and he learns how to overcome that deficit that he has, just technique-wise, he can be great. He actually went 4-1 this weekend. He dropped a tough match in the quarterfinals, but then against the 1 seed actually, because he was the 8 seed, and they came back to win all his 4 matches, just being smart, sticking with the stuff he could do, and then just body kids all the way there to place 5th, which was a huge thing for us, placing 2nd in that tournament. It's just all these kids in the constellations coming back everywhere to win. He got pinned by that kid, just like, it's not a good choice by him. It happens. And then at 160...
Sent out Cooper.
He sent out a senior, not a great kid. He was basically a JV kid. Our coach just wanted to give him some matches. Extremely hard-working kid. I can't really say anything bad about him. Just not a great wrestler, honestly. He fought his ass off the whole match. Still ends up getting pinned. He gives 100% every match. So I can't really say anything bad about him. He's just not the level of the other kid who's a state level kid, and he ended up getting pinned. He was able to fight off for almost the whole period, which is pretty impressive in his part. And he gave the kid as much as he could handle that first period. At 170, where the match, I forgot 182. We did start it from 182. His brother.
We actually didn't start it for, that was the last match. It came down to him, but going back to 170, our kid Matt Carlson was wrestling.
No, that was the final match.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. CBA.
No, it wasn't.
He won the match. Yeah, he won the match for us. Just
you talk about the rest.
Give him a message on. At 182 is where we started off. It's actually his brother. He's taking a phone call right now from his dad. So yeah. All right. Just give us a second. Actually, at 182, his brother came up with a huge pin. His brother's a hammer. Won 28-6 last season. Thinking about trying to put a run together for states. Hopefully, place in states this year. Dude's a hammer. Dude's basically the hammer of the upper weights right now. He's like 14-2 right now. He's doing great this season. Dropped a loss to 2 state-ranked kids. Pretty tough losses. Never got pinned. He's like 7-3 and 4-2, both in like the finals of tournaments. Doing pretty great. So back to the last match. We were down. Oh, that's his brother right there. Okay. So, so we were down 37-39. So it all came down to the last match. They win the match. We win the match. He had our kid on his back. The whole CBA bench is going crazy. And you just see everybody just yelling at our kid and just fight off your back. Keep fighting. Don't give up the pin. He doesn't. He gets off his back. He ends up fighting his way for 30 seconds, non-stop moving on by him to get the escape. And then a little scuffle breaks out. He pushes him. And then second period happens. The CBA kid picks bottom. But little does he know, our kid's fucking pissed as hell right now. He's gonna kick his ass. Our kid slaps on a cradle, puts the vice grip on, and then he rips it back. The kid starts kicking for his life for about 30 seconds, and then just dies out slowly, and our kid pins him. I think in our kid coming in his freshman year was one of the worst kids you see. Like, I thought I was bad my freshman year. This kid was terrible. Got pinned in every single match in under about 30 seconds. Right? And then his work ethic is crazy. Dude was like 182, but like 45% body fat. It was terrible. And then he comes in his sophomore year just looking like better. And then just keeps working every single day. Not the best kid. Gets pissed after all his matches. I have to talk to him after all his matches. Just to tell him, like, yesterday actually, in the tournament we went to, he lost his semifinal match, but he was a 6 seed. He upset the 3 seed in the quarterfinals. He lost to the 2 seed 6-1. He fought his ass off that match. I had to give him like a pep talk to talk to him. He's like, if you came to this tournament last year, you wouldn't have made it past the pigtail round. You got stuck in like 30 seconds. He's like, yeah. And I keep talking to him like, look how far you've come. Don't get pissed off yourself. You give fucking 1,000% every match. Like, no matter what happens, you know you did your fucking best. If you could have won that match, you would have. Like, he's that type of kid. He could have not done anything better. Effort-wise, maybe technique-wise, he still has a lot of stuff correct. Dude doesn't have a lot of muscle mass, not the strongest yet, but compared to, like, his freshman year, he's, like, 10,000% better. And he's, like, probably has above 500 record now. It's just crazy. Dude suffered injuries in his career and everything. He's one of the toughest fucking kids I've ever met. And he's going to be a hammer and hopefully make it states next year, which is going to be crazy. In New Jersey, that's not an easy thing to do, especially not in our district, not in our region. It's not an easy thing to do because every kid who made the states last year, 170, made it to at least the blood round, which is fucking crazy. And then we ended up pulling away this win. That kid is going to be legit next year. Yeah.
All right, so real quick, since we're running out of time, first, I just want to touch on one thing, and then we're going to talk a little bit about your Instagram and your Heavyweight Nation and all that. But I don't know, did you see Adrian do a leg cradle on that kid?
Oh, that was crazy.
What
Another
was going
one of
through
the
your
kids.
mind
The kids
once
that
you were watching that?
Yeah, the kid at 132 I was talking about. Maybe not the greatest kid. Kid gives 100% throughout the match, whether he's winning or losing. He's going to keep scoring points. He's going to keep fighting off takedowns no matter what. If kid were to tech him, he's fighting off each takedown for about 30 seconds. Kid's tough as shit. And in his third place match, this tournament we went to, the Buck Classic, the kid had his leg up in the air for about 20 seconds. He was down 11-2. The kid ends up slipping, falling to a knee, which is probably the worst thing he could have ever done. Our kid just wraps around him, puts up a leg cradle, rips this kid back to his back. The whole place goes crazy. The kid he's wrestling from Jackson Liberty got upset in the semis, was pissed as hell. And just tries to stick our kid, just bully him the whole match. Got too overconfident with the takedown, got put in a leg cradle. The whole bench is going crazy, just watching that. The whole Jackson Liberty place is just watching that shit in shock, just looking at it like, oh my god, that's really about to happen. Wow, he really stuck him with a leg cradle. Just comes off the mat screaming, just upset a state level kid again. Just wow, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
All right, so real quick, why did you start your Instagram, or I guess you could say your media company?
That's honestly been one of the biggest things that's helped me. I started it junior year, like a month after season ended, right before the Big Ten tournament, like those what's called the conference tournaments in the NCAA. They're going on in Big Ten, Pac-12, Big 12, all that stuff. I just wanted to start to see how far I can make it, because I've seen all these other wrestling pages. I'm like, okay, why not start one myself? I haven't seen a heavyweight page, so I'm like, okay, I'm a heavyweight. I want to look at heavyweight related content. So we started it. Just as basically a thing before. We got to 1,000 followers under a week, and I was like, wow, this is going to be good. So we just stayed with it, just to stay consistent. And I think, actually, let me check how much we're at right now. We are at 6,533 followers, which is crazy. I started this account on March 13th, 2019. So it's been about 9 months and 2 days right now. So yeah, it's crazy how far it's coming. You guys have been amazing with this. Just keep pushing me to be better in this. I actually talked to a couple guys at the tournament I was yesterday. So it's crazy how many guys like actually in New Jersey, like nearby us, are really following this page. A lot of guys from our county are following this page, and I talked to a lot of them. And the support you guys give me is amazing, so thank you for that.
All right, unfortunately, that's all the time we have here with Akil. Akil, the best of luck to you in your season, in your Instagram stuff. whatever you want to call it. Looking forward to see where you go to college. Going to be following you. Maybe go to a couple of games. Hope you guys did like it. If you guys do want to see more of this, if you liked it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next podcast.